Tantor here with a kind of supplemental midweek recap for Georgia Tech football. Tantor was on Rec Talk last night on our live deal, and we have a good time with that. And Rec Talk got me thinking. He really hits me with some questions that I'll have an answer, and then I'll go back and say, hey, you know what? I really think I do things a little bit differently than how I had it listed on Rec Talk. So a big shout out to C-Dog and Rec Talk and all the help that they've given Tantor and Coach and Crew Show. So we really appreciate that. And I just want to answer the questions again. The first question was, Rec Talk said that he thinks Coach Brett Key has the biggest head he's ever seen. I think my head's bigger than Brett Key's. I really do. We need to get Brett Key at the end of the season just to consent to have a tape measure, go around his big head, and see if it's bigger than Tantor's big head. Because I think my head's bigger than Brett Key's head. Because my head's huge. It's hell trying to find a hat. I have to go to special hat stores just to find one that'll fit my giant head. So that's the first thing. I think I have a bigger head than Brett Key. Second thing. They asked me, what would I do if I was the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator? I really do want to stick with my offensive coordinator answer. If you want to know what that is, watch the Rec Talk live view. You can still see it. It's when we ran on Sunday night, 10:22. I really think keeping Haynes King as the quarterback and rolling him out and spreading the field a little bit more, rotating some players a little bit more would be the way to go with that. I think he throws very well on the run, and it minimizes our weaknesses that the offensive line has. All right, so that's one thing I would do. And I wanted to add something to that. I would take number 13 from defense and switch him over to offense and make him a running back. I think that would help out the defense too, quite frankly. All right, second thing, the defensive coordinator. This is the one that I got to thinking about because I really stayed with how would they do it? The hell with how current Georgia Tech staff is doing it. Because it's not working. Thacker, it didn't work with Thacker, and it's not working with the new dude either. So screw that. To hell with Georgia on that one. Tantor would do what Tantor does and what he's always done when he's been a DC at the levels that he's been. And that's to be freaking aggressive. I would get rid of this two-gap scheme that they run. Get rid of their weak zone crap that they run. We just don't have the athletes to do that. So I would kind of do what Boston College done. I'd go to a single-gap system. I would have 4 down linemen, each were responsible for a gap. They would either do inside gap, outside gap, or heads up is the way they would play it, but we would still have them just responsible for a gap. Linebacker-wise, I would be starting 3 and 44. I'd rotate 4 in there. I would have 13 move to offense as a running back. I'd like to see what 35 could do out there in the linebacker rotation. I would move 7 to an in-box safety. So I would have him out there as a safety, but he would be in the box, responsible for a gap. Usually it'd be an outside gap there. I think he's a little bit better to have some coverage responsibilities. And I would blitz a lot more. I'd be sending someone every down. Sometimes I would send 2 every down. I would try to play in the other team's backfield and cause just as much confusion and insanity and heartburn for the other team's offensive coordinator as I could. Now, granted, we're going to give up some big plays, and that's going to happen. So, you're going to have to live with that, and you're going to die with it too. But we're already giving up 38, 40 points a game. Couldn't be any worse, right? Outside cornerbacks, I think we found 2, 0 and 18. I would minimize the substituting of them out of the game. I know you have to substitute to keep them a little bit fresh and to build up some depth, but I would minimize the subbing there. My safeties, I still like my single high safety as being number 1 out there. 5 and 7 would alternate as my in-box safeties. And I think both of them are pretty good and they could handle that type of responsibility. And, of course, most teams run a 3 wide receiver offense, and you would have to have an extra slot corner in there, and I think 14 and 16 do a fine job as slot corners. I saw 14 really step it up last week, so I'd like to see him a little bit more in there. Don't exactly care for his answers in the press conference, but hey, the kid at least was smart enough not to say something really, really stupid. So that's what I would do. I'd be much more aggressive, single gap system, blitz, bring the pressure, try to play on the other team. Because I just don't think that our defensive line has the talent to beat guys 1v1 and to get pressure in a soft zone type scheme that is run out there. So I'd rather bring linebackers, bring pressure, take the thinking out, simplify this defense so that guys aren't thinking, guys are just playing. And that's what I would do with DC, as a DC. I'd be stealing money because I wouldn't be doing anything but simplifying it, putting 11 guys out there and saying 11 hats on the ball. And that's a cliche, but it works, and that's what I would do. You'd have to have a guy stay at home, of course, on the weak side, but besides that, go for it. Just simplify and let the guys play. These guys have played football for 12, 15 years in some cases. Let them go out there and play. Do what they've been doing. Let them have fun. Play. Stop thinking. Play. All right, that's what Tantor would do. Just want to put that out. Shout out to Rec Talk and Sea-Dog. Hope to talk to you guys again in the future, but this is my supplemental and trying to shed some light on those questions that when they make me think. That's what's in Tantor's mind. Thank you. Talk to you later this weekend. Let's have a better game against UNC. Go Jackets.